Let's get started with this lab. So we're basically touching base from our previous lab series, which in the previous lab video, all we did was assign organizational units and we did the basic deployment of Active Directory users and services, right? We set all the infrastructure up so that way we can operate within that environment. So for today's video, I'm going to try to keep it below like 10 minutes, but hopefully 15 minutes. I'm not too sure, but just a synopsis of what we're going to do for this lab portion. We're going to allow remote desktop access for non-administrative users on a domain joined client machine, which is our client 1 virtual machine, right? So we're going to do that. We're going to finish this portion. We're going to enable remote desktop. And then after that, once everything is up and running and working smoothly, then what we're going to do here is that we're going to create multiple users and test the domain login, right? So how we're going to create a bunch of users, basically I have a script, right? You can use this script too. We're going to run it in PowerShell, and PowerShell is going to generate all these users that are going to be active on Active Directory. That way we can easily assess them, manipulate them to however we want to, and it'll just make the learning process with Active Directory a lot more feasible and tangible. So let's get started with our first step. So if you haven't already, if you're just now seeing this video, go check out my other videos, or you can do it if you want to, but just some things are just not going to work properly. We have 2 virtual machines set up. Make sure you get your virtual machines up and running. This is very important. So our first step is that we want to get into this client 1 virtual machine, which is a Windows 10 Pro. So let's go in here. We need this public IP address. Let's get RDP going. Is that the same IP address? It is. Okay, sweet. So for this portion, we're going to want to log in with our Jane domain administrator account, right? So if you remember from our previous video, or if you happen to know this, mydomain.com is basically it's a forest name. It's basically like a centralized domain, right? And that's where Active Directory essentially operates. Jane admin is the domain administrator. So we're going to be going inside this client 1 virtual machine as a domain administrator. This is what Jane admin's user credentials are set to, and basically the password credentials are going to remain the same. Nothing has changed. So get onto your virtual machine. By the way, if you do experience some issues getting onto your virtual machine, just relaunch it a couple times, maybe 2 to 3 times. That's what I did, right? And for some odd reason, I don't know, Azure just lags on that. But I was trying to get on to this virtual machine using these credentials, and it just wasn't logging in. I thought I did something wrong. I had to like redo my whole entire process. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that you can just try again, keep trying again until you get it. Eventually Azure will accept you in, right? It'll accept your credentials. So the next step 3, is that we want to get on system properties, right? And we want to enable remote settings, right? RDP services. So without further ado, let's get back on our remote machine. Let's get on system properties. And I think get on here. User accounts, select users that can remotely access this PC. Come over here, and we want to grant access for domain users, right? So let's hit OK on this one, and just hit OK again, and that's it. That's pretty much it. We just solved a very important step right? To really dissect this for understanding and clarity, the reason why we're enabling remote desktop for these users is to so that we can basically test domain logins remotely. That's one crucial step. I'm trying to think actually what else really is essential with this step, because it's really an important step. Basically, standard users can't use RDP by default, if that makes sense. Only the administrators have, I believe, RDP access. And so for this IT lab, it's basically just real world IT practice, essentially. So hopefully that made sense. It wasn't much of a great explanation, but if you have any further questions, ChatGPT is your best friend. So we just got on system properties, right? We did this step. Then in step 4, enable remote desktop in the session, allow remote connections to this computer, click select users, domain users, right? So we just did this step number 4. Okay. So step 5, which is a confirmation step, right? Once added, any non-admin user in the domain can now log into client 1 via remote desktop, right? So this is basically the gist of why we did this, right? So that any non-administrative user in the domain can now log into client 1 via a remote desktop, right? So any of the users that were previously creating, I'll show you earlier, with one of those users that we're going to be creating, we could log into the client 1 virtual machine, right? So we've successfully enabled RDP for standard accounts. Cool. So we can move on to the next step. So let's hop back in. Don't do what I'm doing. I'm being kind of weird right now with my process, but you can have multiple of these VMs running at the same time. I'm just hopping in and out. So let's get on over here to the DC1, our domain controller. Let's grab this public IP address here. Because we're going to use that to get into and what credentials are we getting on with? Let me see real quick. Right, so our domain admin account. So now we're going to be getting on to the DC1 virtual machine using the domain admin account, which is this. And you can just verify by looking here, mydomain.com/janeadmin. Go and input these credentials here. Okay, sweet. Let that just load for a sec. Okay, we're on. So minimize all this. We don't need this right now. However, what we do need is this bad boy. It's a fun way to exercise with this guy right here. PowerShell ISE, right? And I don't know why I just did that. Come over here to Windows PowerShell ISE, and we want to run as an administrator. So right click, and then you want to get on top of here, which is run as administrator, and say yes. Let that open for a second. So now we're in this terminal. And if yours doesn't pop up, just come over here. Here's the panel, because this is where we're gonna be writing our code essentially, and to basically differentiate between these two. PowerShell and PowerShell ISE are a bit different in what they're capable of doing. As you can see, if you do normal PowerShell, this is what you're gonna see, this bottom portion. But the cool thing about running it in an administrative fashion is that you get this portion right here, and you can just put in your code, right? Hello world, something like that. So okay, coolio. We just got on there. I'm trying to think. What's next in this step? All right, so let's get right into creating our new script. So if we go on our virtual machine here, let's get back on to PowerShell ISE. I don't know why I got turned off. So right click, run as administrator, hit yes. Okay, sweet. All right, so usually when you run this, you'll see that PowerShell has already created a file for you. If you haven't, you can just come on over here, toggle new script, and create a new file. That way you can come and paste your contents on here. So now that we got that working, so we can run our script, which in step 4, we're just going to run a basic script. And to do this, let me just be very frank. This is the script that I'm going to be using, right? It's basically some code, a function, and for yourself, you can just ask ChatGPT to do this, right? You can ask for a specific, and you don't have to be too detailed with this one, right? ChatGPT essentially will know what you're talking about. And it's you're just going to ask it to create some user accounts and just be specific of what the content is. Tell them that you're running you're trying to deploy Active Directory, you're trying to utilize and practice Active Directory, and you want to create a bunch of users. So once you do that, once you get the code, actually I could just paste this as a file on the YouTube description. I could do that too, but if you want to practice ChatGPT prompting, ChatGPT can do it for you. So come over here, paste that up in there. Right, so now we have this here, and once you have all the content in here, come up over here and just hit run script, and voila. If you're able to see this, this light blue stuff, right, that means it's successfully creating. What does it say? Oh, I don't know. Probably just like an error or something. So these are our users. These are the users that are going to be flooded into Active Directory, and we're going to be able to see it. So let that run for a little bit because we asked them to create 1,000 users. So it's going to go on for a little bit, which is pretty cool if I do say so myself. All right. But yeah. So we ran the script, right? You can even use F5 to run the script. Right, or click the green play button, which we did. The script will begin creating users in bulk. So we just did this one, step number 4. Let's move on to step number 5. So in step number 5, we're going to open ADUC, Active Directory Users and Computers. We're going to launch it. We're going to navigate to employees, and we're just going to verify that the users are there. So I'm going to give this like another minute because I'm probably not going to utilize all the users. To be honest, I don't even really need it. I think we'll be just fine with like 50, but just let it run for a little bit. And yeah, I'm just going to give it like 20 seconds. All right, I think now is a good time, right? So I think I'm just gonna leave it on. I don't think anything bad. We have just ADUC. Did it work? No? Okay. I was hoping that would work. I guess not. Active Directory, users, and computers. And basically from our previous lab, all we did was we created these 3 folders here, right? The admins, clients, employees. So where we want to go to for what we just did, we want to hop into this employees folder right here. And would you look at that? They're all creating. So we successfully created some users, and now they're flooded into Active Directory users and computers, and now we can just go through or just play with assigned policies, right? Just do basic Active Directory stuff with these people here, or quote unquote people is what I'm going to put it as. But let me just minimize this. I think this is good for now. If you want to, you can have this thing keep running. I'm going to stop it because at this point I think this is feasible. That's right. That's good enough, right? So let's minimize that. Let's get back on ADUC. And let me just hop back into our steps. So verify that new user accounts were added. We just did that, right? So if you're able to see this in your employees folder, then you're good to go. Let me get out of there. Now for step number 6, right? So here comes the cool part. We're going to log into client 1 with one of the test accounts, right? Which should be fun, I guess. So let's just get out of here. Here's this one, the run app. And log off is right there. This is a cool way of getting off your virtual machine. So let's get off. Oh, I totally forgot to do something. Oh, man. Wait. Hit cancel. Say yes. Okay. I totally messed up. I missed a step. Thank God I caught myself. Let's get back to Active Directory. Right, users and computers. Okay, almost did it. And from here, let's just grab one of these guys because we're gonna log into the account with one of these people. Let me see. Is there anything interesting? Wait, I just saw Romelu or something. Retinfus. Retinfus. I'm going to use you. So just come over here. Copy it. Did that copy? Yeah, it did. Okay. Sometimes it just doesn't want to copy for some odd reason. So if I have it there. Retinfus. Right, guys? I'm using Retinfus. My memory sucks. Retin.fus, just in case, you know. Let's go back over here to run. Hit log off. Retinfus. That's going to be the account we're going to log into. Just hit sign out anyways. Forgot to turn off PowerShell. Okay, coolio. So we're going to get back onto client 1. So just come back onto your virtual machine. Go into here. Grab the public IP address. RDP one more time. Control V. Hop on there. And just like before, right? What did we always do? We always put our domain for us, domain.com / Let's see if this works. Oh, I might have messed up. Restin, was it Retinfus? Yeah, I think it was Retinfus. Sorry guys, I suck at this. But let's see if we can get in. It's Retinfus, right? Oh, yeah, I'm probably wrong on that. Okay, no biggie then. So I'm probably gonna have to go back on here. Sorry guys, let me just, you can skip this part. I need to go back and grab a user account. Alright. Jesus. There we go. Retinfus. Was I even right on that? I so forgot the username. Here you go. Here's a funny one. Sep TT. These are some funny names. I'm gonna copy this. Gonna exit this. Right. I'm gonna forget, so I'm posting this here. Oh no, don't tell me that didn't paste. Oh my god. Do I have to go back? It didn't copy? It did not copy. I gotta do it again now. Go back in, grab another user account. This is so embarrassing. I can't remember names. Oh gosh. Well, this was still on. This is such a funny name. Beefy Fachok. Beefy Fachok. Can I copy this? Sometimes it just doesn't want to. Okay, it worked. Hold on. Okay. Sometimes it just doesn't want to copy the path, which I don't know why. But sorry, guys. I did not mean for that to happen, but you know, sometimes things happen. All right, for Shody, let's get back on to what were we doing? Yeah, client one, right? Okay, so let's get back on it here. Copy this. Get on RDP services. Get on there. Okay, so if you remember from before, right? So our force, mydomain.com. Why did I do that? Let me go grab this. Befi Fachok. Befi Fachok, right? That's our user. It's one of the users in that domain. It's going to be the same password that we've been utilizing. Oh, no. Don't do this to me. The IP address is correct, right? 204.499. Let's see if it'll work now. So I probably spelled domain wrong. mydomain.com / Befi Fachok Cyber Lab 123. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, I'm just gonna give it some time because usually, I think it's Azure related. This should work. I don't know why it's not working right now. Let me just give it like a couple seconds. Let me try one more time. Is Jane Admin still there? Let's see if this will work. Fingers crossed. mydomain.com / what was it again? Befi Fachok. B5 Fachok. Oh my gosh. Okay. So it's probably a problem on our end. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to log back into here. Why did I do that? I didn't need that. I'm going to log back into here. Remote desktop. There he is, B5 for choke. I'm gonna hop out in here. I think I know the problem. You know why? I know now. Because we essentially gave it a password, right? There it is, password 1. We already gave it a password for these guys. This was the password. There we go. Found the problem. All right, so yeah, get on RDP. And from RDP, we're going to do a remote connection to here. Right? To client 1. Let me just double check real quick. To client 1, yeah. So just get on there to client 1. Is B5 for choke still there? I hope he is. mydomain.com. B5 for choke. Password 1. Okay, cool. So there you have it, guys. This is one of the users that we just created from PowerShell ISE. And we're able to successfully log into this. Well, let's see if we can get in first. It's probably going to take some time because it's our first login attempt, but I'm just going to let it load up for a little bit. Okay, and we're in. So sweet. Okay. I don't think there's much more we need to do here. We just created our users, which is fantastic. I hope this video didn't run for too long. Right? Let me just get off of there. Okay, so this concludes our lab for this one. And for the next coming up lab, I'm going to create a series. Not a series, sorry. It's going to be just one portion where we're going to implement group policy management. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it thoughtful. Just hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you want to. I post about like once a week, and basically I just run easy to do like labs for anyone that is interested in IT or is just trying to learn just some basic computer skills. But I hope you enjoyed the video and hope you have a good one.